For those that are interested, so the community team did a fantastic job moderating and observing and participating, as folks are asking questions. So they actually pulled together a pretty great, robust report that they kind of filled out in real time and also recapped as well. So if anyone's interested in walking through that and learning more about it, you can check out this page. It's important to note that in terms of accounts created and followers, it wasn't this gigantic spike, but it's also part of the expectation that, hey, this is the first time people were even exposed to the idea. So, again, I try to reiterate that in terms of brand touch points, we generally are like expecting 4 to 7 brand touch points where they like see Leyline or hear about it. When you first hear about something, you're like, okay, it's interesting, whatever. But as you get exposed more and more, you start to build a sense of credibility and trust and then interest. So then you start to go in, it's like, okay, let me check this thing out. Like I keep hearing about it. I see these press articles, I see this podcast, whatever. And then they start to say, okay, you know what? This is a cool concept. I finally get it now. I'm going to sign up for an account. And then they have to think about, you know what? Wow, this is such a cool product. I should probably donate to these guys. So that's a journey that a lot of our audience has to go through. So it's why we have such prolonged go-to-market campaign, because this entire month has been just expose it and get people to hear and see, and then eventually it turns into conversions and account creations and donations. So this is just the beginning, and a very, very critical audience that we had to reach. And I believe, the peak viewership was pretty strong. I think it was the strongest in terms of the previous community cups. So one thing we've realized is now that we're getting quite large, we have to start thinking about, okay, what are all the different skills and like what pods do people belong to? So one thing I'll be working on this week is try to just at least sketch out the basic org chart. And so you guys have probably seen the like overall organization map that we have, which kind of explains conceptually how the pods function, how guilds function, how temporary pods like come together based off quests, and also like our business operations. Hameed has actually put together a lot of great detail in how we're going to further refine and organize the pods, so that way integrations and communications are flowing together nicely. So just letting you guys know that this activity is underway, and we're making sure that everybody gets communicated to. We listen to a lot of feedback. People can provide input on how we roll this all out. But that's the main focus is as we continue to scale, we need to reevaluate how we're organized and how we're communicating, and then adapt to better models so that way we're not like confusing a bunch of people. So this is often what's described as growing pains for the organization. And we're going to continue to inspect and iterate. So even what you see today is probably going to evolve dramatically over the next 2 to 3 months, particularly in January, because we are going to be opening up the floodgates for our students ambassadors, and potentially have many, many people knocking on our door. So we would just want to make sure we have a really good infrastructure so that way we can plug people in seamlessly. So it'll take time for us to get there, but that's really the focus, is like making sure that we build a very smooth operating organization. And remember, the intent is we're going to build an army. We're going to build an army of engineers and designers and community managers to build the platform of the future. So anyway, I will jump back to our agenda. Okay, so we'll do shout outs and gratitudes. I didn't have the time to think about a randomizer for the week, so I think we're going to try to aim to just keep it under 30 seconds. And I don't know what our reward should be for being on time. But either way, I can kick off our gratitudes. Actually, sorry, before I do that, I linked here a useful article, and there's actually plenty of articles and academic studies on why gratitude is really important. And this is science, guys. This is like real academic science and research going into this. So gratitude helps with relationships, with your physical and mental health. It enhances your empathy and makes you not as angry and frustrated. It helps you sleep. It builds your self-esteem, and it makes you more resilient to challenges and stresses and frustration. So it's why it's super important that we focus on that. And actually, this sets the pace for the entire week, because when you start the week with a mindset of gratitude, it actually, it's a reverberating effect between all of us, and it's going to continue throughout your teams. So anyway, I found it to be very helpful because, when I'm depressed and sad and lonely, I could just start writing down what I'm thankful for, and it starts to just make a difference. And you'll see a big theme in the organization is Kaizen, which is these little incremental actions that are going to improve things slightly. But through doing those consistent little actions, you end up having tremendous impact. So instead of like going cold turkey and doing things like really extreme, all you have to do is just take these tiny little steps and make a great transformation. So anyway, gratitudes. I'll kick it off, and my big gratitude this week is going to go to Lobby. Lobby is a pillar of Leyline. She has really poured her heart and soul into making sure that our marketing and our community teams are robust and effective and really cutting edge in terms of how we're going to market. She's patient. She spends a lot of time to even just develop our people and to help train them. And so I'm really grateful. She's actually taught me a lot. And so, yeah, big thanks to Lobby. I don't think she is on the call, though, so I will pass the hot potato to Paco.
Everybody, can you hear me, guys?
I can hear you.
Gotcha.
I can hear you, Paco.
Wait, okay, sure. Yeah, actually, I was thinking also I'm a big shout out to the community team. They really did an amazing job on the stream this week. As I wrote on the chat, I think I read like 12 hours of communications in one go, and I had an adrenaline rush over there. Really great job over there. And also thanks again to Romain for the help he's and all the support he's putting in creating everything around the new pods, and the support for he's also giving me as PMO. But I think he's no longer in the call, so I will have to pass the potato to Mr. Andrew Dorland.
Thanks, Paco. Yeah, thankful for everyone in the games pod, especially Boogie and Christian. Had some good meetings last week. Had some great ideas. So it's always a pleasure hopping in there with everybody. That said, I'll pass over to Christian.
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, I gotta give props to Jamie. Jamie's just awesome individual behind the scenes and like just super positive in general. I see him pop up in every social media interaction, or tweet is liked or retweeted, or Twitch troll is responded to in chat. Most importantly, keeps me organized and helps me out when I'm lagging behind on some of more organized tasks that I struggle with. But the structured payroll type tasks. But I really appreciate you, Jamie. You're awesome.
Thanks. Okay, I think I got the potatoes. So I want to shout out to Paco and Christian for helping me with a little interview with our new artist, who's actually from Colombia. He has to be onboarded, but I think he's kind of busy from what I see. So, but I did ask him if he's filled out his Gmail and stuff like that. But I think he will get to it soon. But yeah. Oh shoot, that means you guys already went. Freak.
Well, actually, Lobby's on, and since we shouted her out already, you can potentially pass it to her. Lobby, we had a nice shout out for you. We all love you.
Thank you. Feeling is mutual. I don't know who's gone or not, but shout out to the whole community team. I think we have, as a team, they have come very far in the last few weeks, pulled together, creating great content, pushing it out, being on top of it. So thank you and shout out to all of them.
You're here. Who would like to pass the potato to?
I don't know who's gone or not. Sorry.
All right. It's okay. If you pass it to a repeat, they can pass it again.
I will pass it to who's on here, Eugenia.
Hi, can you hear me now?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I shared like 5 meetings with Christian last week, and he was just incredibly insightful in every single one of them. And I know that he's already gone, but I just wanted him to know that like we heard, we listened, and we appreciated. And then Tiffany's not on the call today, but she had LASIK surgery done last week, and she was supposed to be out of commission, but she was still helping to push out graphics and updates for us. I really appreciate that she was willing to do that for us, knowing that this is an incredibly important time for us. And then also Jamie for just, yes, keeping us all on track. And I will pass it to Ali, who I think hasn't gone yet.
Thank you. I had a great, well, I was going to go with Jamie, but you're too popular today. So I'm going to go with Christiane. Thank you so much. She gave me some really good info, always available, always able to see the bigger picture and wants to get things done. And I'm looking forward to getting a lot more things done with you guys with all of your help. Thank you so much. I'm going to pass it over to Christiane. Oh, is he here? All that good work. He's not even here.
We work as a team, so I'll speak for Good Christian. I'll accept the award on his behalf. Even though, he Christian is awesome. Don't let me tarnish his reputation. But I'd like to give actually I'll go ahead and give a shout out to Hex. It's awesome to hear you cast again. It was a trip, man. Watching seeing our logo on the screen on the Overwatch tournament and like listening to you talk about the organization, and it was really kind of a weird viewing experience from this angle. But man, you're awesome at what you do, and it was really cool to hear you doing it again.
Well, thank you. I would just have to say it was not possible without, I don't think Nate's on this call, and then also Eugenia and Justin giving me live feedback, which I generally don't ask for nor listen to, but this was a different case. So yeah, everyone put in a ton of work for that. So and then Justin just kept us all positive and happy, and he's my favorite critic. So I guess I'll hand it over to Justin.
Critic? I don't know. Okay. Got nothing but love for you, man. I would like to really thank everybody in the community team that helped out with the esports thingamajig. That was beautiful. I loved it. I'd also like a big shout out to Cody and Crystal and the people that helped out with the podcast, Brian and Kevin. You guys are amazing. Thanks, Brian. You're a wizard. And thanks, Hex. You know I love you, man.
All
See
right.
you, Brian.
Okay, well, dang it. I was planning if I got the potato, I was going to toss it to Brian because Brian has just been amazing to work with. And the way you came in kind of like, in the 9th inning to help out with that podcast. And like we needed a producer and you stepped up and just, oh my gosh, such a help. Is Kevin on the call? No. Okay. Kevin was awesome to work with there too. And who else is? Oh, you guys are all
we've got
amazing people.
Shahul and we've got Mark.
Can you guys hear me? I hope so.
Yep.
I want to shoot this over in gratitude to Hameed. Even though he and I have not worked together directly, I've been working with Jeremy on looking at what we need to hit our goals from a fundraising standpoint. I've seen all the work that he's done on the documents, and that's really given us some excellent guidance as to, what kind of targets that we need to hit in the next quarter and the next year. So Hameed, I thank you. Gratitudes. And now you have it, and you have to find somebody that might not be listed.
Thank you so much. Do you all guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who's working in front and behind the scenes, and especially Roman, who's trying to put all his effort to help all the podcast team together, to put every effort together. I really try to, a big thanks to Roman, who's trying to support the team behind, and Paco as well, who's always there for me when I need some help. And Brian, thank you so much for your sharp mind. Whenever I need some help, you're behind me as well. So thank everybody, and I'd like to pass it on to Paco.
All right, I think we might have gone full circle now, so we are probably good to go. Paco, if we're okay.
We're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay. Thank you, everybody. So now moving on to our next section. So yeah, this is since there's not too many new people here, you guys all know the routine, what our weekly rhythm of business is, and particularly for our goals. So I'll just walk through or skip through that. What I want to talk about as well is schedule and what our calendar is looking like. So I'll pop open our Leyline Key Beats calendar. Everybody's welcome to check this sucker out because we got a lot of great activity going on. So every week we are focusing a lot on just making sure we're making a lot of noise, particularly press, podcasts, interviews, partnership announcements, leveraging our social channels, building our Discord. All this is a really big focus to make sure that we're getting users, interest, and fundraising. So where we are, we've got our go-to-market strategy in different stages. So you can see we started off with our friends and family, stage 1, then going into more of like the, I guess, second and third tier influencers and stuff like that. But the idea is that we are now in stage 4, which is all of our events and community and continuing all of the press interviews. And we'll probably have a lull throughout December because most journalist outlets and podcasters tend to just take vacation. So it's a good time for us to also, take a little bit of breather too. And then we'll kick things off again hard in January, where we start to focus on the really big mainstream outlets and heavy hitters. So that stuff still to come. We're still trying to fill up that calendar. But basically, if you want, take a look at all what the week's plans are like. The community team and the marketing team is very focused on this. So that way we're loading up the calendar appropriately and not trying to like squeeze everything into one day or have a bunch of empty days. So yeah, that's where we are. And I would say, our big, now that we've kind of like understood from launch what the hitting the market feels like, I think our current focus is we want to try to target hitting our fundraising goals by the end of January, because we're just learning that people just need more time to absorb all this information in order to start to donate and commit to Leyline. So yeah, that's where we are on our calendar. And I've pulled some of the recent objectives and key results and KPIs. So I will also pull that up. Where are we here? Okay, so this spreadsheet here is helping us to stay aware of our fundraising, user acquisition goals, etc. Still working on pulling in a lot of this data overall, as well as getting a sense of, hey, how are we tracking in terms of social reach and impact? But for now, what I'm doing is each week I try to take a data pull to see what our trends are looking like. So some key learnings here is that our fundraising velocity on GoFundMe is not doing so well, but that is a good learning for us because, I've spoken about this already, is that we still need those brand touch points and a sense of awareness and understanding and a commitment. So this is still part of the plan, but the original hypothesis was that this is going to move a lot faster. And so now that we've observed that, our learnings are, okay, what do we need to do in terms of clearing up the messaging? How do we make it easier for people to understand, which is now going to enable us to start to prototype different ideas like updating our homepage and landing page, getting direct user feedback to tell us, hey, what is confusing about this message? So it's good for us to just measure that and understand where we stand, or understand where we are, so that way we can adapt and learn. So one of the things we did is, okay, it is problematic to have like this gigantic $3 million goal and like feel like we're so far away. So we updated that to 500K to just make it a more achievable, even just from the optics perspective, because we don't want people to come in there. It's like, oh, these guys are never going to hit the goal. And 3 million is still our target for properly fully funding. But the strategy now is the business development team is focusing a lot on bigger donors. So this is much more direct individual to individual with folks that have access to capital, that care about the objectives that we're focusing on, that want to have this social impact. Because they are very giving. Like they will easily write checks for 10, 20, 50K. So we are actually building a lot in terms of opening up those connections. And so we also are tracking this on our business development pipeline. So it's good because we have plan A, B, C, D, and E. Right now we're on plan B. So there are other ways to make sure that we've got funding. So I'm actually not worried given the momentum that we're seeing. So at this point, we've probably got about 28 partnerships in the pipe, let alone us like starting to do aggressive outreach. So there's plenty of opportunity in this space. And because we've really nailed it on the launch, the messaging, the impressions, the brand, the press, and like constantly working with the community and building up that grassroots base, it's positioning us very well to connect with these individuals that have big access to capital and to networks. So now it's just the hard work. We just have to like really hit the pavement and like get these connections and continue these relationships to the point that they'll say, I believe in you, I'm going to donate. And I'm a sponsor. And yes, we're going to sign this contract because we believe in this thing and we see that you're on the right trajectory. Okay, so that's where we are with fundraising. So do not fear, we've got a plan in place. What else to show on OKRs? So again, press, we are doing a pretty decent job, or a very good job, honestly, in terms of getting a lot of media pickup. So we continue to get lots of syndication, and almost like every other day or so, actually no, every day, we've been getting like some great articles. And some of the key interviews we do end up getting republished and even localized. So you can see here, we're getting pickup in Mexico, India, Argentina, Germany, etc., which is starting to indicate where we're getting some of our traffic from, which is kind of cool. So again, this is going to slow down because of end of the year. And so most journalists are now taking vacation and disappearing. So this will probably stay flat for the next few weeks or so. However, we still have quite a few interviews that are going to go live. So just this week, we have GameIndustry.biz, Inside the Game, Windows Central, Windows Central. And we've also got an interview from Heavy.com. And so it's like the readership here easily is in like the 40 to 50 million combined. So yeah, things are looking pretty good. Okay, let's see here. All right, so with website visitors, we are seeing an increase. And, you know, there's definitely a bump that we got from the Overwatch Community Cup, as well as, I believe, the NZXT podcast actually hit very well for us, too. So either way, we're shotgun blasting everything, and then we're going to see pickup from all over the place. And then let's see what else. Newsletter signups, we gained a little bit here, which again is like an achievement because newsletter is like way buried at the bottom of the footer. So the fact that people are even going that far is like pretty cool. And we're gaining velocity on account signups. So this is the latest pull that I have. It's not 100% accurate because I'm just pulling it by spreadsheets. So I think once we have better data access, at least that is going to hook us up. We'll get a more accurate count. This actually is only waitlist evo. So it does not include all the folks that are on the whitelist that we've put together. And I believe they're still at 80 or so in our alpha tester spreadsheet that we have not yet onboarded. So we are potentially close to 1,000 already in terms of valid accounts. So that's actually a moment for us to really celebrate. And then Discord community is actually also doing great. So Discord is very interesting because this is a very highly engaged channel because people are just constantly talking, giving feedback, they're testing for us, making suggestions, and also just building a nice culture. In particular, the NZXT podcast was like super cool because we basically like had the podcast live and then just a flood of users just like jumped right in. So they're a very active, passionate community, and now they're part of our community. And what's also great is that we have people from the Boink community now in our Discord too. So as we have questions about Boink and issues and stuff like that, the Boink community is actually chipping in and saying, hey, yeah, this is how stuff works. So we're now starting to bring together all these different audiences and different communities that are all like different facets of Leyline. So again, like I think there's a very, very special thing going on Discord. So we'll keep you posted on how that looks. So anyway, overall, yes, there are areas that we're not growing as fast as we were targeting, but that's okay because now we need to understand, okay, do we have to change our strategy to really push additional user growth, additional fundraising. So it's better we recognize it now than like wait till January and be like, oh shit, we're fucked. So that is the whole purpose of going into OKRs. Any questions? Anybody want to raise their hand and call some stuff out?
Just a quick comment. I just put the number of followers that we have to date on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, which is great. It's actually really good numbers so far, considering the low efforts, and we have no paid marketing in that sense. Low efforts. LinkedIn is not as easy to follow people. It only lets you follow one person at a time. They have to accept you, and then you go back to follow. So really, the way we can grow our LinkedIn is when we put any messages out, please engage with it, like it, share it, so it will show up within your own news feed, so your connections can see it. They'll be interested to look at what it is and then go back and want to follow us. That's really the only way right now that we can grow the LinkedIn. So any and all participation is much appreciated.
Thank you, Lavi. Absolutely. And again, hello, Cody's child.
Sorry, I was going to comment, and then she started commenting for me. So,
yes. So yeah, just to reinforce support for our community team and channels. Again, we're very early stage, so every little bit that we contribute on ourselves actually makes a big difference, because that's the way the algorithm is going to start to propagate our content. So we have our channel, the Social Boosts, Social Post Boost channel. So as the community managers are posting things, please just keep an eye out. It's fairly simple. You just kind of click through and then you hit the like button. So if you can help, that could make a big difference, or even like putting a comment or doing a reshare. All of these things are very important for us to get exposure. And so your like and your share could go a very long way as a PSA. Okay. Other questions, comments? If you guys want to raise your hand.
Yeah, I just want to throw. I made a comment in the chat thread. I mean, you're 100% right. There's going to be a lot of journalists and publishers and whatnot that do chill out a lot more around the holidays. But if you have a show, you don't get a break. Good Morning America or something, right? I mean, if you, I mean, Channel 7, 8, 9, you got News at 11 or something like that. They have to have a show. So during the holidays, when government agencies and so much stuff actually shut down, it actually is like, gosh, it's where do we report on? We need something to report. We need to fill our show. And around the holidays, they definitely like to find the fuzzier, warm, feel good stories, human interest stories that could I mean, there's going to be some positive feedback and reception to stories like that at this time of year, and they have to have something to report. So it might be a really, really great time to keep hammering them with press releases to those types of channels or networks, especially if we have like any actionable item, like not just, oh, we're crowdfunding, but like some sort of event, you know what I mean? Like I honestly, like last week's or the France tournament could have been a thing. Gosh, my baby girl needs me right now. So
no worries. No,
but yeah, that's definitely a thing we could try to capitalize.
I love it. That's a great call out. So yeah, we'll continue to hit the pavement and see if we can open up those channels and just get the message out there. Okay, so sorry I ate up so much time, but we want to give some time to Shahul, who's put together some fantastic information on our finances. So we are, again, really committed to transparency. So you guys get to see where we are on the money front. So Shahul, if you'd like to share screen and take the mic, this is your show, my friend.
Yeah. 1 second.
All right, coming
Hello,
through.
everybody.
We can see it.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you watch my screen?
Yep, it's good.
Okay. Before I start, I would like to present myself, as I see some new faces. So I'll introduce myself first. I'm Shahul, and I'm taking over the accounting and finance along with Jamie. I would like to talk to you today about the financial overview of Leyline. Why? Because we wanted to be transparent, as Jeremy said, and to give you more visibility. So as far as the contribution and the donation as of November, so we have a total contribution of $484,000 from Jeremy, and the rest, that was 25,000. The check was from Michael Morehand, and the rest 16,000 was from GoFundMe campaign. Okay, yeah, so we have a total income of $525,000 as of November 2020. So here you have the expenses, which is divided by category. So for the marketing, we have Altered State Entertainment, which was for the video production crowdfunding. And we do have Warren Smith, which was Kevin Homestead. I think everybody knows him for providing communication services. And TWG, MG, that was Sejal Tabata for worldwide marketing global, and which comes around $128,000. For the public relation, we have 50,000. And the engineering, we have Alteros, the Full Scale and the Grilled Republic. And for the legal service, we have Miller Thompson and Ryan Law, who gives us the advisory for the tax purposes and other legal advisory. And for the compensation, is the labor, I mean for the payroll, we have around 70 people in our, among which we have 15 heroes as of today, 11 apprentices, 14 pro bono, and the rest test hunters. And now I would like to present you by service providers. You have the Altered State for 45,625. I mean, we have made our final payments with this vendor, the Altered State, so we don't have any more invoices for now. For Alteros, we have a bi-monthly bills, which comes around 50K each month. And Full Scale, for the moment, since October, we have put on standby. We don't have any invoices since October from Full Scale Engineering. And for Kevin, as you see, we have the invoices for 37,500. Miller Thompson and Ryman Law. That was for legal services. And Sejal Tabata, we have started receiving invoices. Actually, the agreement was made between October 1st and to January 15th for crowdfunding campaign. Actually, they are supposed to come across all disciplines of marketing like brand marketing, influencers, community engagement, and go-to-market strategy. And so we have a total amount of 350,000 only for the service providers. I have not included the compensation here. This is only for the service providers. I mean, for the marketing, public relation, engineering, and legal service only. And now you have the monthly breakouts. As you see, we have started on full stretch since September. The amount grabs us substantially. So we have altered statement for October, November, which has breakup, and we have around the total of 117,927 for November. And now I'll show you our ratios. As you can see that the amount for Alteros has subsequently, the figures is really impressive. It takes about the 0.5% of the expenses, a total of the service providers.
And I could, Shahul, I could probably add a bit more flavor to this. You know, so Alteros has been very key for us because they are specialized in their blockchain development, and really they've been so core to developing all of our web presence and account platform. And as you can see, it's a pretty significant investment for us. So the long-term plan is what we want to do is continue to invest more and more in our internal staffing, quest hunters, apprentices, and heroes. So you'll start to see the distribution of costs start to normalize a bit because it's pretty expensive, as you can see. But they are an awesome team. I really love those guys. And if you haven't yet interacted with them, you should totally, get to meet them. So we, we're going to figure some stuff out in terms of how we manage those costs. And I think the other thing to call out too is that, there's certainly a lot of work on the legal front, particularly because we are dealing in some very bleeding edge tech and also financial compensation. So legal is always going to be a really critical component for us, as well as like handling international users and business and etc. The cool thing is that we're getting a lot of people reaching out to us that have legal expertise that are gonna, help us either pro bono or basically come in full time. So the idea is that those legal costs will be able to remain either flat or even potentially reduce as we bring more resources in-house. So yeah, at the end of the day, we really did a lot of outsourcing early on to just get speed. And so we paid a higher cost in order to just move very fast and bring on teams that are already executing and know what to do. But now that we're building that expertise in-house, we really just want to start to invest in bringing people in, as like official Leyline employees or quest hunters. And then as we get funding and hit our fundraising goal, then we can activate like, okay, let's like ratchet up the compensation so that people are, quite taken care of. So that's the direction that we're heading right now. So it's been an exercise to balance, cash flow and costs, but we've been doing a pretty good job. So really, really appreciate everyone's focus on being efficient and cost effective. But yeah, please continue, Shahul. Sorry.
Thank you, Jeremy. And now I'll pass it on to the administrative expenses we have totally for the software application, like all that we use for the corporate, for the production. So it comes around 16,000 for the office supplies, like when Jamie asked us to order for the ledger, for the keyboard, the monitor, or other office supplies. That comes around 4,000, and the miscellaneous it's for every shipment that she makes, or for the gift card, for the trim red shade. So it's around 7,000 almost. And now, as I told you already, for the labor expenses, we have around 134. And now, I would like to compare between the contractors and the labor costs. So as you see that the contractors' cost started to triple here since September. So it's really increasing very high. And this is the total grand expense breakout with all the service provider, with the administration or other operating expenses, as well as the administration and the labor, everything put together. You have the ratios here. So for the development team, it comes around almost 38%, and the next behind is for the labors, we come around 26% of the total cost. So this one is going to be where we are heading up. As I told you, we have around 525,000 total cash in, and we have around 511 total cash out for our expenses. So the gap is too less. So we have to, as Jeremy told us a bit earlier, that the GoFundMe does not go so well for the moment. So we have to find new sponsors to try to put in place some marketing to go get more donations and find people to make a project work together. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Shahul. I really want to call out how much effort and work this took to put together, rather just even setting up the infrastructure for that. And so, really want to give credit to Saul Sarango, who's currently not working with us at the moment because he has to deal with some important family things, to Shahul and to JB. They are so critical to have put all this together, to track things, to make sure that we're actually paying our bills. So really, really big thank you, guys. And again, like visibility is so key to understand where we are, so that way we know how to re-strategize and re-pivot. And again, confidence is very high. Our pipeline is looking great, and it grows day by day. So really, the trick is just these next 2 months are so critical to just make sure that we're keeping up with that cash flow. But as I said, I've got plan C, D, and E to pull the trigger if we need to. So things are going according to plan, not as quickly, but we're gonna get there. And yeah, so I'm personally excited. If you guys want to talk about what's coming in the pipe, I'm happy to blurt out everything to you. So just reach out. Okay, cool. We're hitting the 10 o'clock time, so sticking to the hour commitment. I normally have spots here for art showcases, but I'm gonna respect everyone's time and we'll call it for today. But before we end, any comments, items, or questions, if you guys want to raise your hand, I'll give you 15 seconds. Yes, Justin.
I want to give a lot more love to Jeremy for putting everything on the line and really believing in himself and really believing in us and really believing in the mission. And I think that's why you're getting really good work from us. Is we are 100% behind you, and we want to see this succeed. And you're a fucking rock star, man, and I love you very much.
Thank you, my friend. I love you too. I love all of you. None of this would be possible without everybody here. So I am eternally grateful, because it is a crazy leap. I'll say that. But it's paid off, guys. Like, I feel it. I see it. And I hope you guys are. This is why I want to make sure we talk about this whole thing, because for all of you to see the big picture is so powerful. Often, leadership and CEOs and giant corporations don't give that kind of context, and so it's just not motivating. It's like, what am I doing? I'm just kind of fattening your pocket. And yeah, the goal is I don't want to fatten my pocket. And here, I'll share this with you guys. So I've been thinking a lot about how I want to set the tone for a CEO. So here are some things that are brewing in my head. I'm gonna pledge to a few things. I'm gonna pledge to never be a millionaire until poverty is eradicated. So anything in excess of my net worth will go to universal basic income programs and just helping people. Second is, after 4 years, I will absolutely step down from CEO and pass the mantle to a democratically voted CEO to take the reins. I'll still definitely be a part of Leyline, but I'm going to work on projects and build stuff, which is what I really love. I am also going to pledge to being paid $10,000 less than the highest paid individual in the company. And I will pledge never to exceed some proportion of the lowest paid person in the company. Because I look at what's happening in the private sector, especially, and CEO compensation is freaking ridiculous. Like, there's no way a human can be valued 1,000 times another human. That's freaking crazy. So anyway, I think it's important that the leaders in the organization represent like what we're trying to build here, which is a more equitable and positive world, and really valuing people as humans versus someone in a higher position. Anyway, just sharing that with you guys, because I really want to create the organization of the future. And we want to build the most amazing, badass culture and organization on the planet. That is the mission for our internal Leyline team. And with that being said, thank you all. I love you all. We're going to have an awesome week. Trust me. Big things are going to happen, and I'll let you all know when things land. Otherwise, have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. See you
I'm sticking around in case anyone wants to chat, so I'll hang around for a bit.